Today, we are going to discuss the movie Smoke Signals. Smoke Signals is a movie directed by Chris Eyre and is truly an inspiring and educational movie that all must see. This movie is based on the Native American culture. This movie opens up to a scene with two baby boys, Victor and Thomas. Victor's father, Arnold Joseph, saved Thomas from a house fire that he had caused as a result of his drinking on the 4th of July. Unfortunately, Thomas's parents were not able to survive in this fire, and therefore Thomas was raised by his grandmother with the help of Victor's family. The main conflict occurs when Victor's father, Arnold Joseph, is asked to leave his home by his wife, Arlene Joseph, due to his heavy alcohol addiction. Victor's father leaving was extremely hard for Victor as a young boy growing up. Moreover, as the movie progresses and it is 20 years later, Victor receives news that his father is passed away. From the day his father left to the day of his father's passing, Victor felt hatred towards him. He could not fathom how his father had the heart to leave his own son behind and not even ask or care about how Victor was doing. Even though Victor felt all this hatred towards his father, he still felt the need to go to Phoenix, where his father was staying, and collect his ashes. With the help of Thomas's money, Victor was able to go to Phoenix and collect his father's ashes from the woman that his father was with. Victor, having his father's ashes in his hands, brought back tremendous amounts of memories, and from Victor's eyes, one can see that Victor is receiving the proper closure that he desires. Victor understands that his father was not a bad man, as he did, after all, save his best friend, Thomas. Throughout this movie, it is shown that both Victor and Thomas have long hair. I believe that this is stereotypical, as this movie is portraying that all citizens of the Native American culture have long hair. Moreover, this movie portrays that a Native person must be harsh in order to get their way. For example, when Victor and Thomas were on the bus heading to Phoenix, Victor is telling Thomas that he needs to change his look and become tougher so that people will look at him more seriously and give him the respect that he is entitled to and deserves. This demonstrates that the racism that is implied towards the white people and how the natives should act according to the actions portrayed by the white people. Victor in this situation is making conclusions about the white people before any conflict with the white people had occurred. Another stereotype that is portrayed throughout this movie is when Victor is stating that you gotta look mean or people will walk all over you. White people will run all over you if you don't look mean. You gotta look like a warrior. You gotta look like you just came back from fighting with a buffalo. This demonstrates the stereotype of both the white culture and the native culture. Victor is stating that the white people are the type of people to run all over you and disregard your rights. Victor is also stating that the native people should appear to look like warriors so they do not allow the white culture to take advantage of them. As well, when Victor and Thomas were in need of a drive from their friends, the girl states that he needs to give her something before for the reason that they are Indians, and the difference with Indians is that they bargain. The soundtrack throughout this film plays an important role in developing each scene. When there is a scene that portrays negative implications, a fast music with a strong beat will play. For example, when Victor's father, Arnold Joseph, was leaving, the song called Arnold Leaves was playing with strong beats, and that gives the viewer the impression that the scene is filled with anger. Furthermore, this song implies more than one meaning, such as Arnold leaving from his home implies that he will also no longer be living, which is seen later on during the movie. In addition, when there is a scene that is implying positive implications, a calming and joyful tune will be played. For example, the 4th of July is played for the celebration of the 4th of July. The song is an example of how a joyful song will give the viewer the impression of a joyful time in the scene. I believe that the director does get the intended reaction from the audience, as the songs that the director placed throughout this movie truly help develop the situations to a greater extent. The camera work throughout this movie did not play a major factor in producing the film. Although the camera work was not a major factor in the creation of this movie, an example where it was effective would be when the camera would create close-ups to Victor and Thomas's faces to show their true emotions. As well, the camera angles would change when Victor or Thomas were at different heights. For example, when a flashback occurred to when Victor was throwing beer bottle at his dad's truck, the camera angle was low and tilted at its side. The camera perspective showed a considerable distance in proximity between Victor and the truck. This considerable distance between Victor and his father's truck, which is a great symbol for his father, represents the distance emotionally between Victor and his father. In conclusion, the message that the director wished to convey, and in my opinion truly conveyed it to a powerful extent, is that one must forgive those who have brought struggles and discontent throughout their lives in order to feel a sense of peace and happiness with themselves and others. Throughout this movie, Victor was only able to forgive his father once he had passed away. It was when Victor went to Phoenix to collect his father's ashes that he was able to forgive his father and feel a sense of closure. This message truly benefits those struggling to gain closure from struggles such as divorces, illnesses, familial problems from close family members. Without closure, one will not be able to feel content from those around them and will continue living a life full of guilt and regret. Overall, I would give this movie an overall rating of 4.5 out of 5. Thank you for listening, and I recommend this movie to all. Goodbye.